If your leadership team is always at capacity, it's not because they're too busy, it's because they're missing these 4 systems. Hello, I'm Mike Jones, and you're joining me on the Better Happy Business Owner podcast, the show where we flip the script on traditional business advice by, instead of asking the generic, how do you grow your business, we ask, how do you enjoy being a business owner? Because business is a game, and when you learn how to enjoy the game, you're much more likely to win. So if you're ready to stop feeling like it's a constant uphill battle and start actually enjoying the journey, then you're in the right place. Let's jump into today's episode. Hello, listeners. So a couple of weeks ago, I was doing a quarterly planning day with one of my clients' leadership team. So the actual client, the actual business owner, now is not heavily involved in the business, and quarterly planning for the business is done with just the leadership team. And one of the themes of the quarterly planning day in the morning is we look at key issues in the business. So we look at the performance of the previous quarter, and then we look at the issues. What's got in the way? What's been difficult for this quarter? And one of the issues that everybody in this leadership team highlighted was capacity. We're all stretched, we're all busy, we're all feeling a little bit overworked. And this is not just an example from this business, but it's a common theme across all the businesses that I work with. And when we got into problem solving and coming up with plans and solutions for the next quarter, obviously one of the key things that we needed to address was the capacity issue. And we drilled it down into 4 key issues and 4 key solutions. And it's the first time that I've provided or come up with a solution in such a succinct way. So I feel compelled to share this with you on today's episode. So the problem that we're going to solve today, or that I'm going to share with you, is the 4 key systems that need to be in place to stop you in a leadership or management position, or your team in a leadership or management position, feeling constantly overwhelmed. And if you don't have these 4 systems, they probably will feel overwhelmed, and you need all 4 of them. So this isn't just some made up theory. This is based on working with teams over the last 3 to 5 years in different capacities, and realizing that these are the 4 things that consistently pop up as a solution. And if one of these is missing, the problem carries on persisting. So for you as a business owner, it's really important that your leadership team can run the business without feeling overwhelmed, because if they feel overwhelmed, you're going to end up getting sucked back in. They're going to get stressed. You're going to lose people. Performance is going to be suboptimal. Whereas if they feel on top of their workload, you're able to step away and stay away because they stay on top of things. If you've got a leadership team that are running the show, but they're doing that whilst they're severely stretched, it's only a matter of time till issues arise. So if you really want to enjoy a business that runs without you, you've got to not just have a competent leadership team, you've got to have a leadership team that can run the business without feeling stressed and overwhelmed. And if you're listening to this as a leader or manager who's part of a leadership team, and you're resonating with what I'm saying about feeling stressed and overwhelmed, use these 4 systems to get on top of that. So I'm going to go through them in order. Take some notes, and remember that you need all 4 of these. They don't work in unison, they have to work together. So the first one is what I call clarity, and this comes from clear roles and responsibilities. Now, you might think, as a business owner, or even as a leader or manager in a position of leadership management, that you're super clear on what's expected of people. But if it's not written down, you're not clear. So what you need is 2 things to solve this, and this is one of the first things that I do with any business I work with, is you need an org chart. Okay, and just do it in Google Slides. It doesn't need to be pretty, or do it on a Miro board, but you need an org chart that makes it visual, makes it very clear and very visual who you've got in your business. And on your org chart, you should have the top 3 KPIs that are attached to each person. So this is the 3 kind of things that each person drives in the business. And then once you have that on the org chart, you want to write a 1-page role for everybody in the business, yourself included. And on the 1-page role, we want to have the top 3 KPIs that this person is responsible for, a very short paragraph overview of the role. And then on the right-hand side, we want to have the actual roles and responsibilities that fit within their role. So we've got on 1 page, these are the key results that you're responsible for getting in the business. This is a brief summary of your role. And on the right-hand side, the key things that you are responsible for. Now, you might listen to that and go, ooh, I don't think we need to do that. Everybody's clear. I promise you, if it's not written down and it's not black and white, it's going to bite you and your team on the ass. And the reason for this is that the requirements of a business scope, they get bigger and smaller, and they change with time, and new things pop in. And what happens is people take on additional tasks and responsibilities as they pop up, because people want to be nice, they want to say yes to things, they want to problem solve. Now, if you're not writing this down and capturing it, what happens is you come to a quarterly planning day and your team are telling you, well, I'm really stressed and I'm really overwhelmed. And then we don't really understand why. It's like, well, what are you doing? And then we have to spend an hour or 2 hours trying to figure out all the different things that they're doing and if it is a realistic expectation. Now, if you're writing things down and you're recording them, and I promise you, Google Drive is your best friend here, Google Slides, because it's really easy to use. If we're capturing these things and writing them down and asking people to update their roles if they're taking on new responsibilities, it turns it into a much more logical process when we're trying to figure out why people might be stressed. Because we can look at the role, we can look at the responsibilities and say, okay, we need to take that off your role and give that to somebody else. Or this thing that you're doing isn't reflected on your role, so we need to put it in there and then figure out, is it realistic that you can do that and get the results that you're responsible for? So the key lesson here isn't for you to remember the exact template for how to write a role and responsibility, but for you to make peace with the fact and accept that it needs to be written down and it needs to be captured somewhere. And this will help your business become more scalable as well, and help your team be much more logical and rational about how much they've got to do. From my experience of working with many different businesses and many different teams across a variety of industries, when it's not written down, it's a very complicated process, and we waste a lot of time trying to figure stuff out. Whereas as we start to write things down into a role, people get really good clarity and we can problem solve. We can say, well, realistically, you shouldn't be doing that. Sarah should be doing that. A lot of leadership teams aren't naturally great at delegating, especially if they've come through the ranks of the business. So writing things down onto the role forces this issue. A lot of the time, you're going to have overwhelmed managers and leaders who are just trying to do too much because they want to say yes to everything. And until it's written down and seen in a role, they haven't really had to stare that issue in the face and address it. If you're listening to this, by the way, and you're thinking, God, that sounds complicated and hard work, and I've tried to do this before, I don't want you to come away from this episode thinking that. I want you to come away from this episode thinking, I need to do that. What we've got is a trained GPT that you just give a very high level overview of what people are doing, and it creates this role for them with the KPIs based on the format that I've just given you. So it takes all of the hard kind of editing work out of it. So if you want any of these systems, one of the 4 systems I'm going to give you today, we've got a solution for. Connect with me on social media via the show notes and LinkedIn or Instagram. Drop me a message and I'll send you one of these systems for free. So that's the first system, roles and responsibilities. So we need our org chart and we need our roles written down. If we don't have that, team's always going to feel overwhelmed and be trying to do too much. Facts. Right. The second one then that we need is good communications. So if you've got a leadership team or a team, a core management team in your business, and they're not communicating with each other regularly about what they're doing, and if they're feeling overwhelmed or feeling stressed, you're going to get the snowball effect. So what you need is your leadership team to be communicating regularly and addressing issues quickly. Now, the way in which this happens is through a well-structured weekly leadership team meeting. We called it the Level 10 meeting. We've basically stole it from the book Traction, which is absolutely incredible, by the way. So you can go and read that book if you want more detailed breakdown on these systems, or you can drop me a message and I'll show you the format that we follow, which is very similar. But your leadership team have to have a weekly leadership team meeting. If you're trying to step away from your business and your leadership team are not having a weekly meeting, it's going to bite you on the ass because they're not going to communicate. Issues are going to arise. You're going to get tons of duplication of effort and you're going to end up getting sucked back into the business. You'll also have issues with the team. So what we have to have is a weekly leadership team meeting. It should be 60 to 90 minutes. I recommend 90 minutes. It should happen every week at the same time without fail, and it should follow a structure. Within that meeting, the team need to have a scorecard, which tells them how the business is performing on a weekly basis. And they really should have an OKR tracker as well. So this is a tracker that tells us what the goals are for the quarter and if we are or aren't making progress on them. And the team should update those numbers in that tracker before the meeting. What this does is it creates a rhythm in your business where your team communicate with each other. They identify issues early. And if they're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, they've got a good bulk of that meeting where they can discuss that and solve it. A lot of the time when you're getting sucked into issues as the owner, or you're losing staff, or there's performance issues or issues in the business, these things could have been solved if they were addressed earlier. We could have had a preventative solution if we'd had some systems in place that forced us to do that. Why this is so important is most of your leadership team, and this will link to my third system, will not be used to working strategically. They'll not be used to working on the business. They'll be used to being busy and being in the business. So it's a discipline for them to slow down and get away from the reactive day-to-day to look at the business. And if you don't have this leadership team meeting and cadence in place, they will just be busy and reactive in the business and not spend their time being strategic. So this I promise you, this will create issues. So this is a discipline that your team need to build. If you're thinking they're not going to have the time to do that, there's a thing called Parkinson's Law. And Parkinson's Law tells us that a task expands to fill the time that we allow it. So if your leadership team are allowing 5 days a week, 10 hours a day to focus on the reactive issues that have popped up in the business, they'll be busy 5 days a week, 10 hours a day on the reactive issues of the business. Whereas if we said, well, 90 minutes of that you can't do because you're in a leadership team meeting, guess what will happen? All that other stuff will still get done. It will just fit into a tighter time because we're allowing it less time. So you've got to have a weekly leadership team meeting with your scorecards and your dashboards. Templates for that, I've got it all. I've got a template for the meeting. I've got how to structure your scorecard, how to do your OKRs. Drop me a message. I'll show you how to do it. I'll send you the template. Okay, which leads neatly onto system 3. So system 1 is we've got to have clear roles and responsibilities. System 2 is we've got to have good communications in our leadership team and a well-structured weekly meeting. System 3 then is we need to train our leadership team to be proactive. If you have a fully reactive leadership team, all you're ever going to do is get sucked back into your business. Right, so you've got to train your leadership team or give your leadership team the systems to be proactive. And what we mean by proactive is spend time on the business, not in it all the time, so that you can solve issues and achieve goals preemptively. And the way that they do that is by doing something called proactivity planning. And we have a guide for this again. And what you need with proactivity planning is for your leadership team to carve out time each week to not be on emails, to not be responding to people, to not be in the warehouse or the workshop or the dance floor, and to that's a joke, by the way, the dance floor, and to focus on the business. And as a bare minimum, I believe from my experience that anybody in a leadership or management position should have at least half a day a week where they are non-contactable to focus on strategic things. Now, if your leadership team are having a weekly leadership team meeting, out of that comes actions, and these are high-level business actions. Now, what I've noticed is that when leadership teams aren't being proactive, number one, they struggle to get to the leadership team meeting, so we have to be a bit bossy with them. And number two, all of the high-level actions that come out of the leadership team meeting don't get done because they go away and get busy in the day-to-day again, and then all the stuff that's actually going to improve the business or prevent issues doesn't get done. So we need to give your leadership team proactivity training and the proactivity system, which forces them to spend at least half a day a week out of the day-to-day focusing on strategic issues and improving the business and preventing issues. And that can come from the proactivity planner, which guides them how to do that. They'd also be focusing on their to-dos from the weekly meeting. So there's three systems. So system number one is roles and responsibilities and an org chart. System number two is a well-structured weekly leadership team meeting with scorecards and objective trackers. System number three is training your leadership team to be proactive, not reactive. And then that brings us to system number four. And system number four is not tolerating poor performance. And the system that we use to drive this is something called the PDP, the Personal Development Plan. But let me first start with telling you the issues that you're going to have in your business if your leadership team are tolerating poor performance, which they will, by the way, if they don't have a system, because humans don't like conflict. Nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks, I can't wait to go to work today and have difficult conversation with employee A and employee B because they're not doing what they need to do. They've got a poor attitude. They're not being a team player. They're not hitting their KPIs. None of us wake up and want to have that conversation. So if we don't have a system in place, we will avoid that conversation, which means we will tolerate poor performance in the business, which is going to bite us on the ass. This is my saying of today's podcast. So if we're tolerating poor performance for the reasons that I've just said, your good performers get fed up because the poor performers are getting away with it and they're thinking, well, why am I bothering if these people are doing this? It has a toxic impact on the rest of the team, and your managers and your leaders that are tolerating this poor performance end up spending all of their time trying to coach and make these people better. So everybody gets drained. And again, remember the key issue that we're trying to solve here is your leadership team being at capacity. All the time that your leadership team should be spending on being strategic and growing the business and hitting goals starts to get eaten up by dealing with people issues from poor performers and the fallout of that. So it will 100% create issues if we tolerate poor performance. And if we don't have a system, people will tolerate poor performance. Some people are more willing to lean into the conflict than others, but generally speaking, people will avoid it if we don't have a system. So the system that we need is something called the PDP, the Personal Development Plan. And we've got a 3-page personal development plan with a video training that I can send to you for free, so you can drop this into your business as an asset. We normally sell it. I'm happy to give it you for free. It's in tons of companies now, including some big corporates doing over £1 billion a year. So it's an incredible system that you should have in your business. And what the PDP does is it acts as a personal development plan between manager or leader and their team. And it's got a structured process that they follow. And the first page is essentially about the person. So it's not just a performance review, which is very kind of received negatively. So the first page is about the person. It's got a wheel of life. So it's very much about them and us helping them. The second page is about performance. The third page is about goals, personal and professional. It's the second page that's really important when it comes to a performance perspective, because we score everybody in the team doing their PDP on their KPIs. So are you doing the job that you need to do? Their OKRs, if they've got them, different roles will have different levels of KPIs and OKRs. So did you achieve the goals, or are you making progress towards the goals in the areas of improvement that you said you were going to? And then the third one that's also very important is we score them against the values of the business. So are you being a good cultural fit for our business? And if the answer is no to any of those, it gets highlighted in the PDP. Now, we recommend that the PDP gets done quarterly, but if somebody's playing up or being a pain or not doing what they need to do across one of the three areas, we can make the PDP monthly. And then it becomes more of what the HR people call a PIP, performance improvement plan. But the key thing is that having this structured system forces the conversation. The conversation can't be avoided. So your leadership team don't have the option to skip past people that aren't performing well, because they have a system that they follow, quarterly check-ins, monthly if people aren't performing, and they have to have conversations around performance and KPIs, performance and objectives, and values. So if you've got that in place, it forces the conversation. And like I said, if they are not performing, and this is an issue lots of small business owners go through, you have a poor player in your team, you tolerate this poor player in your team for a long time, and it gets to a point where you or your leadership team have had enough, and you're like, I want the person out, let's just fix this issue, we've sat on our feet for too long. And then what happens is you realize you've got no documentation of this person's performance being poor, you've got no documentation of how you've tried to get them to improve, if you have at all, and your HR company tell you, if you fire this person, you're going to get a tribunal. And they're right. So when you have the PDP process in place, it alleviates that issue, because it forces you to go through the right process of having regular conversations with your team, having more regular conversations if they're not performing, and giving them a chance to improve, and recording it all in the PDP. So if they're not stepping up, it becomes much easier for you to remove people from the business. And 9 times out of 10, if somebody's not performing and they're not improving and they're going through the PDP, they'll remove themselves anyway. So those are the 4 systems. We've got roles and responsibilities. We've got good communications, which comes through the weekly leadership team and the scorecards. We've got proactivity planning. So you've got a leadership team that are working on the business and not just 100% reactive. And then we've got not tolerating poor performance, which comes about through the PDP system. So when you've got those 4 systems in your business, 2 incredible things happen. Number 1, your leadership team stop feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and they start feeling on top of their work, which makes the business better. And number 2, you as a business owner can actually step away from your business and relax, knowing that the ship's being sailed smoothly and that it's not just a ticking time bomb with your team being stressed, waiting for you to get sucked back in. So those are the 4 systems that you need. I'm not going to waffle on about them any longer. If you would like any of those 4 systems, please do connect with me either on LinkedIn or Instagram. Send me a DM. Tell me that you listened to this episode. Tell me which system you're interested in, and I will send you the template or the guide or the system for free as a thank you for being a follower of the show. If you know somebody that is struggling with any of these issues and that would benefit from hearing these solutions, please do share the show with them. Please do share the video or the audio, depending on what platform you're listening to, and entice them to listen to it. Because these are genuine solutions. We're not just making things up. We work deeply with small and medium businesses every week, solving the problems. We want businesses to be a win-win, and these are the solutions that work. We see them working every week. So if you want something that actually is going to fix the issue, make your leadership team feel on top of it, make your business a win-win culture, and help a business owner have a business that can actually work without them, without sucking them back in, share this episode with them. Thank you. I love you forever. Have a great week.